Welcome, everyone, to the latest edition of Talkin Ball on ESPN's 97.7 The Zone. This Friday Night Lights edition, because we will have a ton of high school football tonight. Don't forget, over on the Blitz on our sister station, the streaming station, Scott Theisen and the boys and Smokey Mike Honcho, and a cavalcade of help and interns and stars will bring you the high school football scoreboard show starting at 8:30 as the games continue to roll on, and then at 9:30 and at the conclusion, really, I should say, and it hopefully will be around 9:30. We'll see tonight. It's going to be a huge game, though. You're going to hear it, and I will be on the call with my good friend Austin Coletti. We will be live over at Westminster Christian Academy as they will be taking on the Randolph Raiders. This is a huge game because it's a key contest in 4A Region 8. Both of these schools are unbeaten in region play. The Raiders' only loss is to unbeaten West Morgan, but we will be live over at Earl Van Dyke Stadium and bringing you the action there. We want to thank our great friends, Dick Spivey and also the great folks, Stephen Hooks and Louis LeBlanc, of course, the head football coach. He was with us yesterday talking about the Westminster Wildcats, who are up to such a strong start this year, 3-0, with three, outstanding performances. In week 0, they had a really good win over the Lee Generals and our good friend Irving McGuire. That was a nice win for Westminster Christian Academy, 44-23. They took an open week for week 1, which is an early one, but they decided to take their open week early. Then they faced 2 straight region games. They hosted the North Jackson Chiefs, winning a high-scoring contest, 55-39. If you haven't seen Diego Holt for North Jackson, he is worth the price of admission. And then St. John Paul II, they beat them 49-20 last week, setting up this contest with the Randolph Raiders. The Randolph Raiders just finished a 3-game homestand at Sports Med Field, and they have won 3 straight since that opening setback to an outstanding West Morgan team coached by Drew Phillips. West Morgan winning that game at home 41-21, but the Raiders getting the first ever win over Madison Academy in school history, 46-33, a 55-0 shutout of St. John Paul II, and then 52-14, very impressive last week over the North Jackson Chiefs. So got to give a shout out to Coach David Lloyd, who's going to join us. We sat down with him actually yesterday and had an outstanding conversation. We're going to bring you that interview at about 7:25 here in hour number 1, our weekly visit with Coach Lloyd. And Scott Theisen is on assignment today, so he won't be in the studio. So I went to see Coach, and we sat down, and we had that conversation. And we're going to talk about the Raiders and their performance over the North Jackson Chiefs, and then set the stage for tonight on the road as Randolph will make the quick 15-minute trip across town. Should be an outstanding game. It's the homecoming game for the Westminster Wildcats. They have an outstanding campus over there, a lot of support, should be a big crowd. I'm sure the Randolph Raider Nation is going to travel well on the road and turn out. The winner of this game, along with the Priceville Bulldogs, will very likely be in the driver's seat for 4A Region 8. Priceville, of course, is unbeaten thus far under Coach Chris Foster. We've had Chris Foster on Talkin Ball before. Right now, they are trying to go to 5-0 at New Hope, again, and our good friend Tyler Johnson later tonight trying to get another road win. They beat Plainview 20-8 to open the season, and Fairview, two really solid football teams. Fairview, a very good 5A program, 54-47, and that is in regulation. Then in their 2 region games, Priceville has been very impressive, 35-0 over Madison County and 47-0 over DAR. So they haven't given up a point yet in region play. So the Priceville Bulldogs looking very strong also in 4A Region 8. And if they can get that win at New Hope, and whoever wins this game tonight is going to be in the driver's seat for the 1 and 2 seeds in 4A Region 8, and those 2 get home games. So this is a huge game, we think, and we're honored to be bringing you that on 97.7 The Zone tonight on our main feed, because the Buckhorn Bucks are on a bye. Coach Matt Patterson's team. They had the heartbreaker last week at the Cotton Classic on the road at Hazel Green, losing 49-42 in that shootout. And the Bucks have played a difficult schedule, and certainly they're off to a 1-3 start, but they're still squarely in the mix for a playoff berth. And they're going to try to get healthy, reset, and get cranked up next week. And ironically, the czar Tom Abraham will be having to step out, and so Austin Coletti and I will bring you that game live at Buckhorn next Friday, as the Bucks will be taking on the unbeaten Guntersville Wildcats. So as we said, Matt Patterson putting together a very difficult schedule to test his team, and so coming off the bye, they will be taking on Lance Reese and one of the better 5A programs in North Alabama in the Guntersville Wildcats. So I just really we're really looking forward to the high school football tonight. It's an outstanding slate that's getting ready to roll, and I know we already had some results from last night because there were some Thursday night lights, and unfortunately our good friends at St. John Paul II had a tough 4A Region 8 loss on the road. They fall 21-14 to the North Jackson Chiefs. So the Chiefs get their first win of the year, and the JP2 Falcons, they fall to 1-4 as they fall 21-14 on the road to North Jackson. North Jackson better than their record, though. I think they played a very difficult schedule up to that point, so you got to give them credit for getting that win last night. And we're gonna give some kudos to the Huntsville Crimson Panthers, my alma mater. They went on the road to Madison City School Stadium, and for only the second time, I think, in school history, they win on the road there against Bob Jones. They get the job done 28-24, 3 touchdowns for tailback Carlin Long, including the game winner with about a minute and a half to go. And the Crimson Panthers stop the Bob Jones Patriots on downs with under a minute to play, about just under 40 seconds. I think it was 38.7 seconds. And they run out the clock to win that game 28-24 and get their second straight region win. Of course, they were coming off of, their second region win, 7A Region 4 win in 3 weeks. They beat the Grissom Tigers in their region opener as Huntsville took a bye the first week of week 0. They lost 35-20 to the Oxford Yellow Jackets and Coach Sam Adams, who does an outstanding job. But then Huntsville bounces back. They get the 27-7 win over their rivals in Huntsville, the Grissom Tigers. And then they lose a heartbreaker 27-23 to Chad McGeehee's James Clemens Jets, and then turn around and beat the Bob Jones Patriots and Kelvis White. Bob Jones had an opportunity to be 3-0 in 7A Region 4, but that's their first region loss. And they had come in. They were on a 3-game winning streak since dropping their opener at home to the Muscle Shoals Trojans. But they drop a tough one last night, 28-24. But kudos to the Huntsville Crimson Panthers for getting that done. And now Huntsville has put themselves in contention for one of those 4 playoff berths in 7A Region 4. So a lot of high school football already played. And again, we will tell you the rest of the rundown too of the Huntsville, in North Alabama area schedule. It's going to be we're going to tell you on Friday. The Friday slate is Austin at Albertville. That's another 7A Region 4 contest. Scottsboro at Arab in 6A action. J.B. Pennington at Asbury, and that is going to be in 3A action. Boaz at Guntersville, huge rivalry in 5A. Brewer at Lawrence County. Colbert Heights at Clements, Danville at Madison Academy, and you can hear that on our streaming zone. I believe it's going to be on Zone 2 tonight. Madison Academy will be playing the Danville Hawks at Bill Washington Stadium, and Glenn Laird and our own Steve Moulton will be on the call for that game. Madison County will travel to DAR in a key 4A Region 8 contest. Decatur Heritage and Nikita Stover, they will travel to Cedar Bluff. The Grissom Tigers are trying to snap that 3-game losing streak of theirs. They will be traveling to Sparkman to take on LaRon White Sparkman Senators, who have been playing very well this year, coming in, I believe, with a 3-1 record. Their only loss in overtime to the Austin Black Bears. In 6A play, Hazel Green, and this is non-region here, but Hazel Green will be traveling to Jerry Adcock and the Decatur Red Raiders. Now that these are the last 2 Bryant Bank teams of the week. We really appreciate our friends Ken Watson, Mike Johnston, and those guys over at Bryant Bank. We were out at Hazel Green yesterday. They were really pumped up and fired up. They're going to be trying to put their 3-game winning streak on the line against the 4-0 Decatur Red Raiders. Hazel Green at Decatur, probably your other showcase game, along with certainly the Westminster Wildcats hosting the Randolph Raiders. East Limestone, Clint Woodfin, those guys, they will be traveling for a 5A region contest at Russellville. Mars Hill will be traveling to Elkmont. Hatton traveling to Falkville. And then this is a huge one in 6A region play. Hartselle will be traveling to Gadsden City. Hartselle is unbeaten. Gadsden City is unbeaten in region play and has been very impressive. Coleman is coming to the Rocket City of Huntsville to take on Lee and Irving McGuire out at Milton Frank Stadium. And then Madison City School Stadium will be the site for Florence, the Falcons in 7A Region 4 at James Clemens, the Jets. The Jets got their first win of the year against Huntsville last week after starting the season in a very tough, losing a close game to Gardendale at home at Madison City School Stadium, then traveling to Mountain Brook, and then losing a very tough Madison Bowl to their rival Bob Jones 26-19. And they were without quarterback Gio Lopez in that game. And then the Priceville Bulldogs, as we said, they're going to travel to Tyler Johnson's New Hope Indians. Whitesburg Christian at North Sand Mountain is going to be a 2A region contest. Pisgah at Eider. Randolph at Westminster, as we've said. This is going to be a showcase game for, we believe, in the area. The Section Lions travel to Death, Taxes, and the Fife Red Devils, as I say, and they're unbeaten, of course, under the great Paul Benefield. Tanner taking on Sheffield. East Lawrence at West Limestone. Rogers at West Morgan. This is the other game, probably of our three. If you had three huge games in our area, it's Hazel Green and Decatur, Westminster Christian Academy, and Randolph. And this other one, this Battle of Unbeatens, the unbeaten West Morgan Rebels under Drew Phillips will host the Rogers Pirates. Huge region game. Rogers is a heck of a football team as well. They are undefeated, kind of flying under the radar. And then Vina will be at Woodville. And as we said, our good friends, the Buckhorn Bucks, are on a bye. So is Columbia, Douglas, Brindley Mountain, and Ardmore. So all those schools are on byes. But that is your rundown of your, of your schedule that we've had. Slated for this week on Friday night, and we'll have all those scores tonight, and they'll rehash the Thursday scores on the Friday night scoreboard show presented by Woody Anderson Ford and Smokey Mike Concho. Going to be, for us, it's a labor of love here at 97.7 The Zone, and of course on the Blitz Sports Radio, because these Friday nights and Fridays are long, but we love it. Smokey Mike and I are going to be putting in a lot of hours today. We're certainly here this morning bringing you quality sports talk, and we're going to be on the call, as we said, Austin Coletti and I, at Westminster Christian Academy. Smokey's going to be here running the board for, the scoreboard show until 11 o'clock tonight, and then our statewide show will take over. But we are going to bring you all the action, including some live look-ins, and it's going to be wall-to-wall high school football, and that's what we love. And that's what we've built this station around. We are the kings of local programming in the Rocket City of Huntsville, Alabama. And so we look forward to all the high school football action tonight. And it's going to be some good stuff. We think it's going to be a situation where there's going to be some huge region games and some huge results tonight. And, of course, some of these teams are all competing to be next week's Bryant Bank Team of the Week, and that's going to be exciting as well. And so we look forward to that, no doubt about it. And we'll have all those scores for you. And Scott and the boys, they do an outstanding job of bringing you each and every Friday all the results. And we appreciate all the coaches too that we reach out to that come on and tell us about how their teams performed. And I'm sure they're going to feature several. We featured 7 and 8 at a time. No question about that, and they've done an outstanding job of telling us about their squads. And today we're going to talk to Bob Godsey, and that'll be brought to you by our good friends at SportsMed. He's going to join us at 8 o'clock. The Madison Academy Mustangs coming off of a bye, but they had an outstanding performance in their last game against J.B. Pennington to get their first win of the year, and I know they feel like that they've got a really good shot to go on a run here in 3A Region 7, and I think they can do so, no question about it. And then I wanted to give another score from last night. We had one other area game over at Milton Frank Stadium, and it was a non-region game, but one in our area. But the Mae Jemison Jaguars fall 47-6 to the Athens Golden Eagles and Cody Gross. So Athens coming over to our community. Tough season so far for Harold Wells Jaguars, but Cody Gross and his guys starting to get on the right track. Cody's an outstanding coach, and the Golden Eagles come over here winning 47-6 in high school football action over at Milton Frank Stadium last night. So already some great action, great weather. This weather this week has been amazing. It feels like fall football, fall weather, and it's great stuff. And we've got some other breaking news too. I just got a message. It looks like Dirtneck, a.k.a. Jimbo Fisher, can't go a whole show without talking about Dirtneck, my favorite guy. Looks like Haynes King and his reign as a starting quarterback in the SEC is over. Heavy speculation that Max Johnson, the transfer from LSU, who ironically in Ed Ogeron's last game the win, let me say. They played in a bowl game and lost, but it's the last win for Ed Ogeron. In other words, y'all. They beat Dirtneck and Texas A&M last year. Max Johnson quarterbacked that game. He and his brother, now Texas A&M Aggies. It looks like Max Johnson will be taking the snaps in the NIL Bowl against the Ruiz Hurricanes, the Miami Ruiz Hurricanes under Coach Mario Cristobal in the NIL Bowl, as I've been calling this, because these have been two of the more aggressive schools out there in recruiting, giving kids money up front in NIL. But certainly, as I've said, I will be rooting hard for the Miami Ruiz Hurricanes. There's always a chance that Texas A&M could go 1-11. I'm going to be hoping for that because I cannot stand Dirtneck. He's a scumbag. He's the biggest scumbag in coaching. He's a liar. He doesn't tell the truth. And certainly I hope they go to 1-2 after this week, because they beat Sam Houston State, crashed and burned and got dominated in the trenches by Appalachian State. And, of course, I was also sent by one of my great listeners this morning, and I'm going to give him a shout-out. I thought it was, pretty funny, and Smokey, you'll like this, but he sent me on Twitter, a new logo. They have a new logo at Texas A&M, man, and this is from our good friends, my good friend Anthony Havis. He sends me this. It's a Texas A&M logo, but the A is now Appalachian State. So they kind of own Texas A&M right now, and we'll see. Now, I say all this, and I cannot stand Dirtneck. He's a scumbag. I'm saying it 50 times, but I'm picking A&M. I'm picking A&M to beat Miami. I think they'll get up off the ground. I think, if you heard the drive last night, I was on with Stephen West, and, of course, Steve had a conversation on the teleconference with, the Dirtneck, a.k.a. Jimbo, and Jimbo claimed that their issues had to do with eye control. And I said, well, what is that? Like dotting I's and crossing T's because they need their NIL money? Because that's what it sounds like to me. Obviously, they'll probably up the ante and have them motivated and ready to play against Miami after they got humiliated at home last week. But we'll see if they can stop embarrassing the conference and actually win a game at home in Aggie land. And so home of the 12th man. And so we're going to be monitoring that situation and following that one. And that game, and then, of course, and it'll be 8 o'clock Central Time, the Texas A&M Aggies taking on Miami. It will be your last game of the night, so to speak, in the SEC. But remember, the big game certainly is the Auburn Tigers and the Penn State Nittany Lions. And that's a huge one for Brian Harson's future. We've talked about it ad nauseum on Talkin' Ball this week and on the Blitz, on Blitz Sports Radio, the Recruiting Blitz, my recruiting show. We've talked to both Christian Clemente and Jeff Lee. Auburn, as we said, getting Adam Hopkins yesterday, the wide receiver from Thomasville, Georgia. He commits to the Auburn Tigers, and so we were talking about that. They did lose Carmelo English, the wide receiver from Central Phoenix City, playing for Patrick Nix. He decides to decommit, but then they turn around and add a 4-star receiver. He is considered the number 1 receiver in the state of Georgia in the 2023 class, so a big get there for Auburn. But again, on ESPN, a 6-point favorite is Texas A&M, so those checks are clearing. They will be taking on Miami at 8 p.m. And then your rundown really in the SEC, it'll be the appetizers and the brunch games are going to be Georgia at South Carolina. That's going to be an 11 a.m. game on ESPN. Georgia, nearly a 25-point favorite in that game over Shane Beamer and the Gamecocks. Youngstown State, the hometown team for Mark Stoops, they will be traveling to Kroger Field and Kentucky. That will be an 11 a.m. kickoff on SEC Network. Abilene Christian traveling to Missouri, who has been, quite frankly, underwhelming the first 2 weeks. That will be another 11 a.m. game on SEC Network Plus and ESPN Plus. 2-0 Abilene Christian, actually, against the 1-1 Missouri Tigers. And then the Ole Miss Rebels in your 2:30 ABC game. They will be traveling to Georgia Tech and Jeff Collins. Ole Miss 2-0. Tech 1-1 coming off a Western Carolina win after the throttling by Clemson in the first game, even though that game was closer than the score indicated. And then, as we said, the showcase game for the SEC, Penn State for the first time ever traveling to Auburn on the Plains, and that will be on CBS at 2:30. Then the Vanderbilt Commodores. This is unusual, though. They're traveling to Northern Illinois in the MAC, and they are a slight underdog, a 2.5-point dog. Auburn, a home dog, and that's now gone up to 3 with Penn State. Ole Miss, a 17-point favorite at Georgia Tech. You understand that. Missouri is a big favorite over Abilene Christian, and Kentucky a big favorite over Youngstown. But interesting that Northern Illinois is a favorite at home by 2.5 over Vandy. Vandy needs to get that win because they started 2-1 under Clark Lee. This would get them a third win. Wins after this week are going to be hard to come by. They lost 45-25 to a really good Wake Forest team last week at home in Nashville. So we'll see. Nick Saban in Alabama after the the escape or whatnot at DKR, the dump that is in Austin, Texas. Alabama is nearly a 49 to 50-point favorite over Louisiana Monroe, who beat Nick Saban in 2007, but are about to get a beatdown of epic proportions, in my opinion, on Saturday. That game will be at 3, and we will be live there for ESPN 97.7 The Zone. And then an intriguing under-the-radar matchup, Mike Leach and Mississippi State coming off a really good road win at Arizona on the road in the Pac-12, 2-0, and they will take on the 1-1, the mystery that is LSU. As Wes Neighbors said yesterday on the drive, they're kind of like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. They dominate Southern University, but they give the game away against FSU. Now LSU in their SEC opener hosting Mississippi State in Baton Rouge. And Mississippi State is, this is rare, they are a 2.5-point favorite on the road at LSU. And then Missouri State, the Bobby Petrino Bowl, they will be traveling to Fayetteville to get beat down by Arkansas. Arkansas is a definitive favorite. And then Tennessee, looking to be 3-0 and should be. They are a definitive favorite at home in Knoxville at Neyland against Akron and Joe Moorhead. And then the Florida Gators looking to bounce back. Again, they're hosting South Florida. That will be a 6:30 SEC Network kick. It'll also be SEC Network Plus for Tennessee for those that want to see that game. And then finally, of course, as we said, the NIL Bowl, the Miami Ruiz Hurricanes taking on the Texas A&M Aggies. But we wanted to give you that rundown. Now we're going to go on a break here on Talkin' Ball this morning. And when we come back, we're going to have a conversation for you with David Lloyd, the head coach of the Randolph Raiders, on this FNL Friday on Talkin' Ball.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Good morning from the traffic center. Still looking good. We had one wreck in Morgan County, 36 East and Walnut Road. No injury, no blockage. They pulled it off the roadway. Just waiting on law enforcement to get there. Cajun Rice is back at Popeyes and their 11-piece chicken family meal. 2 sides, 5 biscuits, only $22.99. Popeyes, University and Jordan, 72 and Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville. Kerry Rosenblum here with Rosenblum Realty, and we appreciate our MA family. Football season is back again, and we're here for your real estate needs. We've been also doing rental properties for many years. You may have a home that you need to lease out. You don't need the headaches. You need somebody to take care of it, make sure the repairs are done, keep the rent coming in, and screen the tenants. We can do all that for you at Rosenblum Realty, where we do property management services, or you can find a good home to rent as well. Call us at 256-539-9501. Put our years of experience to work for you.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Attorney Tommy Sinyard on behalf of Sinyard Law, and again proud to be a sponsor of All Things Football here on ESPN Radio. My son Bart and I started our own law firm July 1 and are very proud and excited to be bringing you our 50 years of collective national award-winning injury trial law experience. Check us out on the web, sinyardlaw.com.
Sinyard Law, nationally recognized, locally respected.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. Coming up next, it's the Tom Abraham Show with me, Tom Abraham. Now back to more Talking Ball with Scott and Drew.
Welcome back to Talking Ball. Drew DeArmond on this FNL Friday, as we have been talking a lot of high school and college football, previewing tonight, taking a look back at Thursday as we talked about the big wins for North Jackson, Athens, and Huntsville High. And then the full slate coming up tonight, which you will hear the results on the Woody Anderson Ford High School Football Scoreboard Show, and you'll hear Austin Coletti and I with the biggest game of the night, in our opinion, and that is 4A Region 8 contest. The Westminster Wildcats, unbeaten at 3-0, hosting the 3-1 Randolph Raiders. We had a chance to sit down with Coach David Lloyd. We bring you a visit with him each and every week to preview the Raiders and take a look back at last week. The Raiders will be heading into a bye. As we told you, Buckhorn and Gunnersville will be the showcase game for us on our main feed next Friday night. Austin Coletti and I will be on the call there for the Czar, Tom Abraham, and John McGough. But we are going to bring you tonight, and honored to bring you this contest between Louis LeBlanc, outstanding coach and man, against David Lloyd's Randolph Raiders, extremely well coached. Andrew Hunter, now this week's reigning AL.com Huntsville Area Player of the Week, coming off of a 300-yard, 7-touchdown passing performance. And we sat down and talked about that with Coach David Lloyd, and we preview that game and take a look back at North Jackson, and here's that conversation.
Welcome, everybody. We are here with Coach David Lloyd for our weekly visit. The Randolph Raiders, now a 3-game winning streak, 3-game homestand, went about as well as it could go. And, of course, had to fight through some weather last week, but a big-time victory as they were able to subdue the North Jackson Chiefs 52-14. A little bit of a slow start. The Chiefs had an outstanding running game, led the game 8-7 for a brief moment. But Andrew Hunter continues to play at a very high level. 7 touchdown passes for the senior, and the ball was spread around. Personally, I thought the offense hit another level at times during the ball game, and the passing game was just clicking on all cylinders. And lucky for that, because the Chiefs had a pretty stout front 7. The running game was a little bit of a chore for the Raiders last week, but a good win nonetheless. Coach, it's always great to talk with you and chat. Good win for the Raiders last week.
Yeah, it was a good win. We did start a little slow. Had a couple of penalties early, kind of moved us around. I thought we overcame that, did a really good job there. I thought defensively we played well. They got a really good running back, the Holt kid, number 0, just a sophomore. He's very, very good. He's tough as nails.
I thought he's the best we'd seen so far this year.
I think he's probably, him and Fletcher from West Morgan,
they're both really
maybe
good.
The 2 best we've seen so far, and he's really, really good, does everything for him. So any time he was off the field, we kind of took a sigh of relief a little bit. But they're very young. Most of their guys are sophomores and juniors. They'll bring a lot of guys back. They're a little more physical up front than probably what they get credit for. And that's what they're known for, is being physical, run game, physical defense, and they lived up to that. They did a really good job stopping our run game. We probably should have run the quarterback a little bit more, but we kind of put him on a pitch count early in the season of how many design runs he gets. But we were throwing the ball around pretty well, so we were able to keep doing that.
Well, and I thought too, when you face a running back like Diego, he's a young kid, but you're going to see quality like that in the playoffs. I mean, and there were times I thought we even had good run fits that sometimes you got to make a dude miss, you got to run through contact, and he did that. So it tested the defense a little bit, because I thought, since the West Morgan game, the defense has played at a very high level. But when you see a kid of that caliber, even as young as he is, to me, that's for down the road, and it's going to prepare you for high-level running games like that.
Well, yeah, you always want to see a team that can, do things that you don't see on a normal basis. Some of the formations and the sets they run, some of their 2 tight end, double wing stuff. They had a really good plan up front running the ball and worked really well for them early in the game. We were able to adjust and make some plays. But like you said, if we didn't string something out and gang tackle at the line of scrimmage, I don't know if he had a run for negative yards. He's running through contact. He's pulling a guy with him, tough competitor. He was banged up a little bit towards the end of the game, but he just kept coming back. And watch him running the ball, you wouldn't have known it. Very, very tough kid, and that's what North Jackson's about. They're tough kids.
Oh, that really impressed me when he hurt his ankle. I thought he might be done for much of the game, but he came back after just a series or so and ran the ball hard. That really impressed me. And he was playing both ways some too, because they didn't have a lot of depth. And their front 7, I thought, honestly, was probably about as good against the run as West Morgan, because we had trouble. Matter of fact, I thought we got more movement against West Morgan at times than we did against them. But I thought it was key that we were able to rely on the passing game. Andrew was sharp. Grayson was unbelievable. Connor was really good, spreading the ball around. I said on the air, I thought Grayson was the MVP just because he did a lot of other things. Like he had the block of the game during a big run for us. He had touchdown catches, but he also, as a defensive player, I thought he did a great job. Had maybe the hit of the game too. I thought from a physicality standpoint, and with North Jackson, a lot of times in their history, you have to meet their physicality. Right. I thought Grayson did a great job of that.
Yeah, I thought he did. He was making plays all over the field on both sides of the football, and that's what you have to do when you play a team like North Jackson. Is you do have to match their physicality. And I thought we did a good job with that, with especially a lot of guys: Grayson Davenport, William Collins, Connor Goodson. Yeah. Those are names we're going to call that a lot. And that's their style of game. They enjoy it. They really like it a lot, but it's good to have Grayson on the field. We didn't have him last year because of an injury, but to have him back, he really just adds another dimension to our offense and really just makes things happen for us on the defensive side of the ball.
He does, and so you get through that game. How relatively, where are the Raiders health-wise going into this huge game with Westminster on the road?
We're just as healthy as we were last week. We got one player that's still nursing an injury, should be back in a couple of weeks. We get a bye week next week, so that's good for our guys to heal up. But we're just as healthy as we were last week, so we're looking forward to Friday night.
And then talk about this challenge coming up. This is, we talked to Louis LeBlanc on Talkin Ball earlier this week, and I called it the juice, because this is why you do this. This is why you guys coach. This is why these players train and play. This is why I love broadcasting and getting into high school football. This is going to be really, really a cool experience. And plus, it's a road game, so the Raiders have done really well here, at Sports Medfield, winning 3 in a row. But now you're going on the road across town against a team you have a history with. You could say a rivalry, and there's a lot of mutual respect between you and Louis LeBlanc. You guys haven't played a ton in the same region. Now you are, though. But this is Brandon Mush. This is big time. This is a fun challenge.
Yeah, and Coach LeBlanc's done a phenomenal job. Every year he's been there. He just finds a way to be successful with the kids he has, and he's done a really good job the last couple of years getting their numbers up, getting more kids out. I feel like this is the 6th year we've seen Mush.
Oh my! Think about that, yeah.
And I think he's just gotten better every year. He's a really, really good football player, great athletically. You have to worry about his arm talent and stopping the passing game, but he can also get out of the pocket and hurt you with his legs. I'm pretty sure he's their leading rusher through the 3 games they've played. And they've scored a lot of points, man. Right now, they're the 6th ranked scoring offense in the state. So it's a challenge for us defensively to go over there and try to contain those guys and try to slow them down. And it's I've said it before. These are the types of games you should want to play. Challenging game. A great environment. It's their homecoming, 15 minutes across town. It's what you should want, man. Big game environments, and we're excited about playing it and looking forward to a really good football game on Friday night.
Now, the thing I haven't watched film of them, but I've just been tracking their stats and talking to people around the area. They're not just mush, though. These guys have some weapons. They've got a nice running game. They've got a couple of kids that can make some plays in the passing game. As you just said, they've been putting up big numbers. So the first, you have to contain Mush first and foremost, right. But this is a multifaceted offense.
Yeah, they've got weapons everywhere. They had a really good week last week running the football. 2 guys over 100 yards rushing. I think they scored rushing touchdowns with 3 different players. They've got a couple of really good receivers. One's a senior, Lockett. Owen Lockett's done really well for him.
Return my 2, yeah.
So he's done a great job with Mush. That's kind of his primary target, and he should be. He's a heck of a football player. Does a really good job. But yeah, they've got a few weapons. So we can't just load up on one guy. Then you have to worry about what Mush can do to extend plays. So it's a big challenge for our secondary. We're going to have to hold coverage a little bit longer. And it's an even bigger challenge for our D-line to create the pressure and keep everything on time and keep him in the pocket.
Yeah, no question. And then their defense, they've got a big defensive tackle up front who's a junior who had a really nice game last week. Really quick kid. Coach LeBlanc was saying that he's basically starting to finally mature and come into his own. He was very disruptive last week up front. And we had some trouble blocking North Jackson, especially in the run game. So it's going to be key. I think we're going to need a little bit more balance this week, Coach, probably to get a win on the road.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We're not going to be able to sit back there and just throw the ball the entire game. And that's one challenge we made to our offensive line this week is we got to be able to run the ball to be able to win games. If not last week because our passing game was on point, we still got to be able to do that down the road. We're going to have to run a 4-minute offense and be able to control the clock and put one in the end zone on the ground to win a football game. So that was a challenge to those guys this week. We've seen some different kind of defenses through the first 4 weeks, and you get a little more, I guess, traditional defense from Westminster, but they do a really good job coaching those guys up. So I'm sure they'll have something ready, for us this week. And, we just talked about executing at a high level, challenging our offensive line, challenging our running backs to, when the time calls for it, when we need it, we got to be able to run the football to win a game.
And then, what's amazing with this run for Westminster in this 3-0 start, they took their bye early and then week 1, which is after week 0, Coach. And then, finding out, though, that they're so young up front, 3 freshmen, a sophomore, then a senior. It's got some experience, but not played a lot of football. But I think that's one reason why Louis and those guys ran the ball so well last week. They were trying to gain confidence in that part of their game. But our D-line, the Raiders' D-line has been really good this year, consistent. I know Jennings didn't start the game last week, but he came in. Finn Dwyer, I know you honored him this week. But it's going to be key up front to win that battle with that young offensive line we're going to face, though they're playing well.
I think that's the key matchup for both sides is how does their young offensive line, who's really kind of coming to their own and creating an identity for themselves, play against our kind of little more experienced defensive line. We've got a couple of starters back from last year, a kid that rotated and played a lot. So I think that's a big key for us. And they've done a really good job up front. They're a very well-coached football team. They execute at a high level. They do the things they need to do well. And Louis is always going to have those guys ready to play.
Yeah, he is, no question. And then our secondary, one thing I've been really impressed, and then, of course, we're going to have a chance to get some guys, healthier in this coming by, though. I really have been impressed with the way they've tackled in the open field because they had to last week because North Jackson had some dudes. They had Diego, when he would get into the secondary, he was something to handle. But I think that one thing that I thought we did well last week, I know North Jackson's not known for the passing game, but everybody we've played, we've done a really nice job in coverage, except for the one deep ball that I thought was well covered by Nick against Madison Academy. The secondary, from a coverage standpoint with Coach Matthews, and then the tackling has been really good.
Yeah, they've done a great job back there, and it's something they work on in practice every week and make sure we're going to be good at. We'll try to pressure some, and when you pressure guys like that, you got to be able to tackle on the back end if something happens. And our guys did a really good job. We missed a couple here and there, but that's going to happen. But I mean, overall, I feel like we've done a really, really good job in our coverage concepts, understanding the routes we're going to see and the offense we're going to see and how we adjust to those things. Connor Goodson has done a really good job getting us in alignments that we need to be in, checking the coverage we need to check to, and then just getting to the football. And like you said, making open field tackles that limits what could be big gains. And we're really going to need that this week because if Mush gets in our secondary, he's going to be tough to handle.
He is, and this could end up being a high-scoring game, but you never know how games are going to flow because on the college level last week, I thought Alabama had a huge advantage in the trenches against Texas. That didn't happen. Texas was very, very physical, and the game ended up really being a defensive struggle for 4 quarters. So you never know how a game's going to flow when you play against these guys. But both teams have explosive offenses. But I know as you've watched film and prepared, what's going to be like maybe the 3 keys for the Raiders to get a huge road win? And this would be a huge region win because I think the winner of this game, to me, this could be one of the top 2 slots for a home playoff game, potentially. And if Priceville's down the road, you got some other challenges in the region. But this is a huge stepping stone to put yourself in position for a playoff spot.
Right. I think, it's going to come up front on both sides of the football, how we handle our assignments and do what we need to do, defensive line against their offensive line, and how do we hold up against some of the pressure they like to bring, and can we block 78? He's a very good D tackle for him. He's had a really good couple of weeks, done a great job. Can we get a hat on him and get him blocked to do the things we need to do? Like you said, it has the potential to be a high scoring game, but it's also got the potential to be one of those 14-12, just slugfest. So we've got to be able to take advantage of the opportunities when we get them. Offensively and defensively, can we continue to create takeaways on the defensive side of the ball? Can we make tackles for loss and put those guys behind the chains? And can we get off the field on third down? We didn't a couple times last week in some third down situations. We allowed them to move the chains. So we got to do a better job there. And then offensively, staying on track. We can't get a big play that has to come back because we blocked the kid in the back or we held him or something like that. So we've got to eliminate some of those penalties to keep us on track not put us behind the chains so we can stay on schedule and stay as efficient as possible.
And then the kicking game is going to be big in this game. Louis puts a big time emphasis on it with his program. He told us that this week, and I know you got to be excited. I mean, a little bit of a struggle early in the North Jackson game. They hit a couple 2-point conversions, but how big was it for Hunter Hess's confidence to hit the 42-yarder? I thought that was huge. That thing would have been good from nearly 50.
Oh, that's big for him. It's big for us. He's kind of been our long-range field goal kicker. I think we had an opportunity earlier in the year to kick one and we missed it. And he's definitely got the leg to do it, and he's been working really hard at it. And it was good to see him get a chance and be successful with something like that. And it's always good to know that you kind of got that in your back pocket. That you can snap it and kick it from there and come away with 3 points. Now, you've been around us long enough to know if the end zone's in sight, we may go for it.
Right.
But to be able to give him an opportunity just to trust him with the work he's put in during the weeks to get ready for that, I thought was big there. We did have some struggles early with some extra point stuff. We had a little bit of a bad hold on one, and then we just kind of got in our head a little bit and missed another kick. And, that's a focus we've worked on this year. We've kind of created a little competition there. J.J. Chung came in and made a couple of extra points for us later in the game against North Jackson. Keegan Morris has made an extra point for us. So we've created a little competition in that kicking position. To kind of be able to, juice up practice a little bit. It's easier when you're the only guy, and that's something we've really tried to do is create depth at every position. So those guys challenge each other, they push each other, and they do it in a good way. They're not trying to battle for, I'm going to take your spot or I'm going to do this. They want each other to be the best they can be to help our team. And if that's got to be Drew, it's got to be Drew. It's got to be JJ or Keegan or Hunter, or we got to go for two. Like, our guys are on board with what we need to do to be successful.
Well, and we're certainly looking forward to this challenge on Friday night. And I know you're looking forward to the Raider Nation traveling well now because we've had 3 straight great home crowds.
Oh, it's been awesome. We want to be able to take that on the road, especially in an environment, what I think we're going to show up to on Friday night. It's homecoming. They've been celebrating all week. They're getting ready for the game tomorrow. It's going to be a big game. It's going to be packed. I want us to travel well. I'd love to see our student section travel well, and just be ready and make it a home environment for us. We want to level the playing field with the energy that our stands bring every night, and we want to take that show on the road.
Well, we look forward to seeing the show and seeing a great football game, hopefully a 4th straight win for the Raiders heading into the bye week. But, Coach, we always appreciate the visits, and go Raiders.
Thank you, man. Looking forward to it.
That was David Lloyd as we spoke with him yesterday over on the campus, Raiders on Garth Road, the beautiful campus there of the Randolph School. And I want to correct myself, the AL.com Player of the Week, Andrew Hunter, 439 yards, 24 of 28 passing, 7 touchdowns, just an unbelievable surgical performance for him, and he wins that. He's voted the Player of the Week by the AL.com and by the great folks in our area, and that's well-deserved for him as he's continuing to garner some college buzz and interest, and we congratulate him for that, of course, and we hope he can move on and play some college football. He's an outstanding quarterback, but we need to go on a break. When we come back, we're going to wind down this first hour of Talking Ball.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Good morning from the traffic center. Still looking good. We had 1 wreck in Morgan County, 36 East and Walnut Road. No injury, no blockage. They pulled it off the roadway. Just waiting on law enforcement to get there. Cajun Rice is back at Popeyes and their 11-piece chicken family meal. 2 sides, 5 biscuits, only $22.99. Popeyes, University and Jordan, 72 and Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey Wes, our company Fleming Roofing and Restoration specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a 5th generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough we can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey Wes, we show up.
This is Wes Neighbors with Phillip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still a place to call for your insulation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on 2 services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Phillip with Eagle Insulation.
Coach, how's this year's lineup looking? It's looking great. We got a lot of MVVs, and they are looking outstanding. Next.
Yes, what about trades?
Ma'am, you know University Kia always gives up to $5,000 of a KBB trade-in value. Right now, get up to $5,000 over Kelly Blue Book fair market value for any trade at University Kia. New 2022 Kia K5s are just $199 per month. Plus, we want to buy your car. Scan the QR code to see what your car's worth. Only at University Kia.
Listen up, sports fans. Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for a 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite sports, including NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. We've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest new European slots, and our live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. Sign up at BetUS.com or call 1-800-99-BET-US and get into the action. BetUS, where the game begins.
Law firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
Hi, this is Chris Stewart. The quest for a 19th championship starts this fall. Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Welcome back to Talkin' Ball. This is Drew DeArmond, and we have listeners tuning in from everywhere, even the great Midwest. Another great listener that just joined us, Mandy's listening this morning. She's getting her sports talk fix as we have been talking a lot of high school and college football. And just some numbers, too. We talked about the Huntsville Crimson Panthers, their 28-24 win over the Bob Jones Patriots last night in 7A Region 4 action. And Bob Jones was on a 3-game winning streak, and they were ranked number 8 in 7A. And we are really, fired up for Huntsville. We congratulate them. Kelvis White's done a great job there as well. They were playing really good football, but Huntsville bouncing back from a tough loss to the James Clemens Jets last week to get this big win, 28-24. As we said, Carlin Long, 3 touchdowns, 197 yards rushing, including the go-ahead with just under a minute and 30 seconds from 10 yards out. He also had 66 and 36-yard touchdown runs, and Jax McClung had the other rushing touchdown, 4 rushing touchdowns for the Crimson Panthers as they did an outstanding job getting that win. And Bob Jones was led by Ray Hardy, their electric quarterback, the senior dual threat. He did a great job. Also, KJ Fields, their outstanding receiver, had a touchdown catch, a really difficult catch from 22 yards out. And I also want to give a special shout out to defensive lineman Todd Whitmire. He's a senior, and he had a really strong game for the Crimson Panthers as he was in the backfield all night long, had a couple of tackles for loss, and was really dominant at the point of attack. And the 2 key plays, again, as we said, was Huntsville stopping Bob Jones consecutively for no gain to take over on downs and basically run the clock out. So a big win for Huntsville. And again, Whitmire, 4.5 tackles, 2 for loss, 4 quarterback hurries for him, and Carlin Long, 18 carries, 197 yards, and the 3 big touchdowns. And Jax McClung, the starting quarterback, with the other rushing TD as the Crimson Panthers win 28-24. So congratulations to them. But speaking of high school football, Bob Gotze is going to join us for his weekly visit. The Mustangs coming off of a bye as they will be hosting Danville tonight. The Danville Hawks coming off of a big-time road win at J.B. Pennington before that bye. We're going to talk about that game, and we're going to talk some Madison Academy Mustangs next, presented by SportsMed with Bob Gotze.
These days, my budget could really use a boost, which is why I love shopping at Kohl's. With the epic deals going on right now, I got myself some cute tees for under $7 each. Oh, and all my fall home decor, 40% off. Not to mention, everyone in my family got boots for under $40 each. Plus, I earned Kohl's cash. Yep, just a few hacks to work around inflation. Select styles, offers end September 11th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Good morning from the traffic center. Still looking good. We had 1 wreck in Morgan County, 36 East and Walnut Road. No injury, no blockage. They pulled it off the roadway. Just waiting on law enforcement to get there. Cajun Rice is back at Popeyes and their 11-piece chicken family meal. 2 sides, 5 biscuits, only $22.99. Popeyes, University and Jordan, 72 and Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A fantastic Friday across North Alabama, southern and middle Tennessee. Plenty of sunshine, temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. It'll be a fantastic evening for Friday night football. For the most part, temperatures hanging out somewhere in the low and mid 70s. Maybe just a touch on the humid end of the spectrum. Still going to be really fantastic. Temperatures continue to fall off through the overnight early into your Saturday mornings. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Braves and Phillies in Atlanta starting tonight. Max Fried on the mound for the Braves at -182 money line in Game 1. Philadelphia +155. The over/under 7.5. College football, number 2 Alabama hosting Louisiana Monroe Saturday afternoon. The Crimson Tide a 49.5-point favorite. Auburn at home against number 22 Penn State. The Tigers +3 at Jordan-Hare. Heading into week 3 of college football, Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud and USC quarterback Caleb Williams at +325 odds to win the Heisman. Last year's winner Bryce Young of Alabama behind them at +525. Georgia quarterback Stetson Bennett at +900. Red Hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwhiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwhiners.com.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Last hour of the week of Talkin' Ball on ESPN 97.7 The Zone. As I'm here, Drew DeArmond solo today. Kind of taking me back when I was first on here on ESPN 97.7 The Zone for Talkin' Ball. My first 3 years or so on the air, we did this solo from 12 to 1, then 12 to 2, then 9 to noon, and brought you quality sports talk. And don't get a chance to do this often by myself except on the Recruiting Blitz, and that's on the Blitz Sports Radio. But enjoying the show today. We had some quality sports talk. Brought you a great conversation with David Lloyd of the Randolph Raiders. And now we are going to bring our next conversation to you. And it's courtesy of our great friends at SportsMed. And SportsMed does a great job, with working in concert with Madison Academy. And if you and just remember, SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center is a proud sponsor of Madison Academy football, and they invite you to visit their Saturday sports clinic for all those sports-related injuries. Each Saturday from 8 to 9 a.m., visit 4715 Whitesburg Drive. It's the SportsMed Saturday Sports Clinic, and today's interview with Coach Godsey is brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. And give them a call, 256-881-5151, to experience the SportsMed difference. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing care that improves lives. And in speaking of affecting lives and helping young men, our next guest has done that. He's in his 4th season at the helm of the Mustangs. Before that, a great career, state champion at Hartselle in 2011, long career there, and of course with the Brooks Lions. And he and Jerry Adcock go back a long way, as they were on Steve Rivers' staff also with the Decatur Red Raiders. But Coach Godsey is with us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Coach, I hope you had a great bye week. It's great to speak with you again this morning. How are you?
Well, it's great to be back. It was a long week. I tell you, it feels like forever since we played, but we had an outstanding week of getting better, getting a practice, and really working on ourselves, which we needed to do. And you worry about those things with a young team. Seems like the message that every coach is preaching in press conferences and on social media and all of that is about getting young people to buy in and work on improving and not playing up the competition and taking the easy way out and all of those type things. And all of those things really come forward when you don't have an opponent out there for them. So, but I'm really proud of our guys. We've made just huge strides here in the last 3 weeks, and hopefully we can continue that tonight.
No question about it. And I know, Coach, you were really excited and You told our own Steve Moulton he and Glenn Laird will be on the call. And I know one thing that was very exciting for you is you guys were preparing for that game and that region contest against J.B. Pennington, was that you felt like you were finally healthy during the regular season. And that's tough because, again, especially at a school now on the 3A level with Madison Academy, sometimes depth can be an issue at certain spots. But you guys were healthy going into that road game, and you were playing a J.B. Pennington football team that came in playing well. They were undefeated at 2-0, and yet your team put together a complete performance, 49-7, that you and the staff had to be pleased with to get off on the right foot, certainly in 3A Region 7.
Well, you're right. I mean, the fact that we had two more linemen healthy to be able to rotate guys, we made it through 2 games with basically 5 linemen, and to get 2 more healthy to add to that mix just makes all the difference in the world. For example, you go on a 15-play drive, and, you're wearing a defense out, and you feel like that's giving you an advantage. Well, really, you're wearing 2 defenses out because 3 of those linemen got to turn around and go play defense for us.
Yes.
And, they're just gassed. Well, now having everybody healthy, we got a lot more rotation. We got a lot more guys that we can, put in that mix, and that made a huge difference, I think, against J.B. Pennington. And, not to mention that we got, you mentioned getting off to a good start. We got off to a good start in that game and kind of got things rolling and got some confidence after, an awesome week of practice to where the light really began to, I think, started to come on for a lot of the young guys, especially defensively. So we're just, looking forward to hopefully continuing that as we move into our second region game.
And, Coach, for our listeners, you've been doing this a long time. You've won a lot of football games, and you've been on long playoff runs. You've been on a long one last year. This is a long journey. Now, it goes by quickly. I was talking to some young men at Hazel Green yesterday. They were our team of the week, and I told them never take it for granted and always treasure the moments, because the season will go by like lightning. But if you go on a long playoff run, it is a long journey. As you're going into a bye week with a football team, and each year every schedule is different. Sometimes the bye week is at a different time. What is you and your staff? You got a lot of veterans that I know you've coached with a long time. How do you approach each squad each year? How do you approach the bye week to get better and make sure that keep the players fresh?
Well, we talked a lot. I've talked with some younger coaches about that, just here this week, and I've had that question a lot. And I think each bye week kind of brings its own situation about kind of where you are as a team, where it is in the season, what's kind of ahead of you, and that type thing. The general rule, it's a great time to go back and really work on yourself, and work on the fundamentals, and that type thing. Maybe work on some depth, spend time with some younger kids, in allowing some older guys maybe to get some rest, to heal up, things of that nature. There's also times where that week is used to grind. You got a team that's just got to get better, and it's a grind. It's back to camp days, camp practices, and that type thing. So for us, this past week, we kind of did a little bit of all of that. We had 3 really, 2 really tough days, and where we grinded it pretty good. But through all of that, we worked a lot with our younger guys and trying to help them get up to speed, to try to build some depth to help us. As you mentioned, we've added some depth at receiver. We've added some depth that was desperately needed on the offensive and defensive lines, and we were able to get some guys that had some little bumps and bruises and nicks kind of healed up, because, like I said, it's a long journey. And I've said for years, especially once you get to the playoffs, a lot of times it's not so much about who the best team is; it's really mentally who still really wants to be there. Because when you start playing game 13, game 14, things like that, you're beat up. There's a lot more distractions during that time, and as you mentioned as well, and it's over before you know it. we're rolling in here almost to midseason, and it seems like it's flying by.
It is, and Coach, I know, as you said, you've been mentoring some younger coaches as you were going up in your career, and the goal is always a blue trophy and to win a state championship. Who did you take the most, advice from, and the way you pattern your program to be able to sustain and ingrain in your players the want to be playing at the in the playoffs when the weather's the coolest, when it's the stakes are the highest, and keep everyone engaged to want to go on these playoff runs, because football is a tough physical sport,
Right.
but a lot of times it's the inner hunger and desire inside you. Who is your biggest influence that kind of you patterned your program after in order to set it up each year and to as you mentor your players to get them in the right mindset to go on playoff runs?
Well, all of it started with my dad, who coached for 40 years. That's when I loved the game, and just, I grew up at the field house. I grew up around, the football and the grind and things of that nature. And then, the structure and the development and all that type thing, I have to give, Coach Willie Slater, Coach Rick Rhodes, who were, college coaches. Chris Yeager, who is now the head coach at Mountain Brook for several years, was our O-line coach at Troy. And, the structure of running a program and things of that nature, I always have to give them credit. And then on the high school level, I was so fortunate to break in with Coach Rivers and watch the day-to-day, development of players, and all the little things, that seem so simple but come so important. I learned, from him and watched him get the most out of players. And then as far as the playoff stuff, I have to give Jamie Riggs, who's a longtime coach at T.R. Miller, a lot of credit as we kind of got things rolling there at Brooks. He and I were talking one day, and he basically said, Bob, you need to start preparing for a 15-game season.
Wow!
You have that program to a situation where you need to start preparing for a 15-game season, not a 10-game season. And I had asked him the question. I said, "You guys make deep runs every year. How do you do that?" And he said, "You need to start looking. You got things going. You got things, kind of where they need to be. But you need to be thinking about playing 15 instead of just playing 10." Because I felt like at Brooks, after a year or two, when we kind of got established, I could tell we were kind of tired, burnt out, at round two, that type thing. So you look for you want to push them. It's different every year. There's some teams. I remember there was a team we had a good playoff run at Hartselle. We were full pads 3 days a week. That's just what that group withstood. That's what they understood. We made a good playoff run. That's just the way they were. We've never done that with another team before that or since then, and so there's a little bit of gauging each team and each team's personality and things of that nature. But, you pick your times to work and be hard, but it is a long grind.
It certainly is, and we're talking to Bob Gotze, the head football coach of the Madison Academy Mustangs. And Coach, you certainly, even though you have a young group, you've always scheduled difficult ball games, because especially out of region, because you want to test your team and find out where you are before region play. You certainly did that. The Dessler Tigers are unbeaten. Patrick Malone's done a great job. You guys lost a tough one in the opener at Bill Washington Stadium, and then on the road at Sports Midfield against Randolph, but your team bounced back a couple weeks ago against J.B. Pennington. It's a 3-game body of work you've seen so far, but what were you most pleased with that your team accomplished in that stretch, and what did you think you needed to work on the most heading into the bye week?
Well, once again, we really were starting over. We had two starters on defense. We got 5 sophomores playing there, so we're just looking for improvement. And we did way more good things in both of the first 2 games that we lost than we did bad things. Unfortunately, the bad things we did were game costers. And like you said, I think we played 2 very, very good football teams that can stress you. And and we made plays against both of those good football teams. Now you're just looking to try to put that consistency together, which we were able to do, in week 3 against J.B. Pennington, who was undefeated and, looking like they won't lose again, till the playoffs maybe. And you just, you schedule, I think, early, tough opponents to kind of see where you are. You want people to kind of expose you to find out what you need to work on and where you need to get better. I use the old adage all the time with, it comes out of Remember the Times with Coach Boone. We're not weak on the left side. We just got to work harder on the left side.
That's
and
right.
I think when you get, exposed, you know where you need to go to work. And we have improved in all areas. Our kicking game has improved drastically. Ray Acker, who had never kicked a football before this spring, to my knowledge, is just continuing to get better. He was awesome at J.B. Pennington kickoffs inside the 10-yard line. We had a new snapper, we had a new holder. I mean, just all down the line, everything new. And as these guys get experienced and have a little more confidence, business is going to pick up.
It certainly is, Coach. And I wanted to ask you about growth, too, because I'm glad you mentioned the kicking game. There's another big part of it. He is your holder. He's your punter. He's never punted until this year. He's also a wide receiver for you. I thought he took some huge steps forward in the last 2 to 3 games in this first part of the season because we've talked about him before on the show. He took a year off last year, did not play, but he's playing football for you this year, and as a guy that's getting more and more reps. And I saw a video clip of a catch he made on the sidelines against J.B. Pennington. It was a very good throw by Carson Crean as well in a small window. But talk about the growth of a player like a Jackson Reese, who to me is a really good athlete, but just starting to figure football out. How have you seen him grow so far in the first third of the season?
Well, I think it's obvious as you watch him play. I think Jackson is very a very good example, very indicative of our whole team. A guy that has some skills, that can do some things. It just needs time in the battle. Needs some time in the, you can practice all you want, you can throw all you want, but just being in the game to make, the type of play, as you said, he made some nice catches against Randolph. He made some nice catches against J.B. Pennington. And, it takes time to build, camaraderie with a quarterback. And I don't care who you are. You look at, Alabama right now, they got the Heisman Trophy, the best player in college football offensively. But it's going to take some time for him to build, some timing and confidence, with a new group of receivers. That's just what happens. And our guys are hard workers, and that's been the best and most pleasing. It's a fun group, man. They show up every day and they work hard, with the exception of this past Monday. They show up and work hard every day. And, you just continue to improve. But, just Jackson is with the rest of our guys. As they get more confident, you will see them make more plays.
And, Coach, I know Carson Crean's really been a tough, gritty competitor. We certainly enjoyed watching him compete against Randolph. I know he's played well for you. He's run the football. He's done everything you've asked of him, thrown the ball well. Mario Brewer is, I know, a leader on your football team. Made big plays. Ken Cherry coming back from the knee injury, getting more and more comfortable. As you've seen this team, these guys, these leaders on your team develop, how has that been to watch these guys start to blossom? It's got to be a feeling of excitement going into this game at home against Danville. And I know it's not really about Danville, but it's about, as you guys say, play to the standard. Talk about how they've developed, and then this next challenge in front of them coming out of this bye to play well tonight at Bill Washington Stadium.
Well, I think you said a lot of things right there, in which that's what we talk about every day. In all of those guys, they're same deal. They're getting more confident in things, and they work hard, and that carries over to our younger players. When they see your older guys continuing to work hard and push themselves, and responding when they're pushing the younger guys, and then obviously it helps when they're making plays on Friday nights to see that work, pay off. So, excited about that. But like you said, we're going to respect everybody we play, but whether it was last year when we had a very experienced team or whether it's this year with a very young team, we're always going to work heavy on ourselves about executing and taking care of what we can control, whether it be in the summer, whether it be in the winter in the weight room, whether it be, summer, or in the semifinals, and I can't remember a game when going back and looking when we won or we lost and thinking, that, we could have done something better or we won this game because we executed this better. Those are things we can control. We can't control the weather. We can't control calls in a game. We really can't control what that other team is doing. All right, we just have to respond to that, with execution on our side of doing what we're supposed to do. And in this, that's what we've done, since day one, and we're going to continue to do that. And once again, as we get confident in terms of what we're doing, and execute it better, whether it be offensively, defensively, or in the kicking game, then business will continue to pick up just like it did, Friday night at JB Pennington.
We certainly will. We look forward to Friday night tonight at Bill Washington Stadium. Should be a great crowd. The Mustang Nation turning out as they will host the Danville Hawks, and Coach Bob Gotze and crew trying to stretch that to a 2-game winning streak and go on a run here in 3A Region 7. Coach, we always appreciate your time. We know you guys are itching, ready to go. You're getting didn't want to start quickly tonight. We look forward to a great performance, and you can hear that on our streaming station here on ESPN 97.7 The Zone. Click on Zone 2 to hear the Mustangs and Bob Gotze take the field tonight. Thank you for the time, Coach, and good luck tonight. And go Mustangs. We always appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Enjoyed it very much.
That's Bob Gotze giving us some great insight into his program and the growth of the Mustangs this year, a young group. We're going to go on a break. When we come back, Jake Crane going to talk some college football with us from Crane & Company. Stay with us.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed precision overhead garage door service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision overhead garage door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision overhead garage door service. Call 256-400-4500.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant Bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
Hi everybody, Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of no knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner.
This is Chuck Oliver. Listen to me coming up at noon today. Now, back to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back. Talkin' Ball, fast-moving show. What a great conversation that was with Coach Bob Godsey, one of the best coaches in the state of Alabama's history, trying to bring a 4th state title to the Madison Academy Mustangs. And again, you can hear that game against the Danville Hawks tonight on ESPN 97.7 The Zone call with Glenn Laird. That will be on Zone 2. If you click on Zone 2, you can listen to the Mustangs. And on the main feed will be with the Randolph Raiders traveling to the Westminster Wildcats, and you can hear Austin Coletti and I on the call. But we're going to talk some college football with our next guest, one of the best shows in the United States. It's Crane and Company. It's on YouTube, 6:30 to 8 each Monday through Friday. An unbelievable cavalcade of guests, of sports talk, and we love breaking down each week with Jake Crane, the college football slate, and we're going to do that right now for a few minutes on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Jake, thank you for the time joining us once again on this Friday. How are you?
Guys, I'm always down to come on. It's Friday. Got a little college football tonight. Nice little slate this weekend. I will say, we're already in week 3. I needed to slow down a little bit. Slow down. I do not want the football season to be over before it starts.
Well, we know how closely aligned you and your brother are with Auburn football. Your father was an all-time great under Coach Pat Dye. You know that program inside and out. We've been talking all week about this is a fork-in-the-road game for Brian Harsin. Auburn has been underwhelming the first 2 weeks. Now, they won the games, but they're going to have their best effort coming up against Penn State, their first trip ever from Happy Valley to Auburn. And this is there's going to be a huge recruiting weekend for the Tigers. Your thoughts on this game, Penn State being a slight favorite over Auburn in it. I thought all summer that Auburn was going to win this game, but I've lost confidence after the first 2 weeks. I know you have your finger on the pulse of this. What is your thoughts on this matchup coming up at 2:30 on CBS Saturday?
Well, kudos to both these teams, number one, for setting this series up and not doing it on a neutral site. I cannot stand the neutral site games early in the year. Neutral sites are for bowl games. That's what they're for. Go play somebody at their place. These towns thrive and survive off football season in most cases. So, kudos to both these programs. Here's the thing. You got to call a spade, right? Auburn doesn't have great personnel. They just don't. Outside of the running back position, a few spots on defense, this is one of the most least talented Auburn teams that I've seen in a while. This is a huge game for Brian Harsin. It's the biggest game since he's been the head coach at Auburn. You look at Penn State. They've got Joey Porter Jr. and talented guys in the secondary, but they've struggled a little bit. Now, they did have to play Purdue at their place, which is a prolific passing offense. They're going to put up numbers. They did hold on to win the game thanks to Sean Clifford and that last drive for Penn State to go win it. But Penn State does struggle on the offensive line. This game is going to come down to who can run the ball better, because that is going to set up the play-action pass and the pass in general. Penn State's got a better team than Auburn overall. They have better players. But Jordan-Hare is a crazy place to play. Mm-hmm. It is worth at least a touchdown for Auburn. Auburn has a very weird way of taking teams that may not be as talented and for 4 quarters figuring it out in big games at Jordan-Hare. Penn State's the favorite. They have better players, probably have a better coaching staff, but I think Auburn wins this game somehow, some way.
And how big will – and to me that would be immense for Coach Harsin, because we talked about this 5-game stretch to open the year at Jordan-Hare. You've got to believe they've got a great shot at beating Mizzou, even though they're going to have to come down if they beat Penn State emotionally. But Missouri is not very good. And then it's going to be a really interesting matchup with LSU. But we felt like when we saw you in Atlanta that if Auburn came out of this homestand 4-1 or 5-0, that Brian Harsin could be set up for a lot of success in year 2. But this right here, this game is huge. But just talk about what it would mean, and especially from a recruiting standpoint, because the way Auburn's home schedule sets up, the 2 biggest games will be Penn State and LSU, and so this is going to have to really juice the recruiting for them if they perform well.
Yeah, well, if you look at where Auburn is, ranked right now when it comes down to recruiting, it's not good. Brian Harsin and them, and look, to be able to be a healthy program, you need stability. A win over Penn State would be a big step in the direction of stability for Auburn. Now, it wouldn't save Brian Harsin, because if they fall off a cliff after this, it's not going to matter. But it would definitely put him in a position to get closer to being able to stay at Auburn longer than a lot of people, including myself, think that he will be. It's a big official visitor list. Auburn needs momentum. They need confidence. And until they start doing things on the field, all this talk and all the slogans and all the videos, they don't matter. It's a massive game for Auburn. It's protecting home field, and it has a chance to put Auburn into the spotlight, because if Auburn wins this, then they beat Missouri and they beat LSU, they're going to be a top 25 team going to play a game at Georgia, which you're probably going to lose. So while this won't save Brian Harsin, it's a map to get to the lifeboat.
Yeah, that's a great point. We're talking to Jake Crane, Crane & Company, part of the Real Daily Wire, and they bring you great sports conversation Monday through Friday from 6:30 to 8 on their outstanding YouTube channel. Please continue to check them out. And Jake, another game I find it fascinating only because when we saw them 2 weeks ago, and it was on one of your favorite neutral site games in New Orleans. LSU was their own worst enemy, shot their foot off basically, lose 24-23 to the Florida State Seminoles. Now, after a whitewashing of Southern, we didn't learn a lot from that. They will be taking on Mississippi State in their SEC opener in Baton Rouge. What I mean is you guys do a great job of breaking down and being along with the sharps, the point spreads and picking games and seeing who you like. I find it interesting, though, that Mississippi State was impressive on the road at rebuilding Arizona under Jed Fish last week, but they're a slight favorite on the road against LSU.
Yeah, well, if you look, Mississippi State went and absolutely dismantled an Arizona team that has really made big strides from 2 years ago, or from last year to this year. They went out to Snapdragon Stadium in San Diego State and put it on them, and that's a tough place to play. San Diego State is a program that they have an identity. We know who they are. They're a brand that everybody understands, but Will Rogers has done an unbelievable job. We said before the season we think he's the most ready NFL quarterback in the SEC outside of Bryce Young. A lot of it's going to come down to if Mississippi State is willing to run the ball enough to be able to have some sort of balance. Now, in the air raid, you have a lot of modified runs, quick game, swings to the back, trying to get in second, sixth, and stuff like that. But Mississippi State has rushed for over 100 yards in their first 2 games. I got to give credit to probably the most underrated defensive coordinator in the country, and that's Zach Arnett. You know, it's not easy being a defensive coordinator under Mike Leach in an air raid offense. Now, they do go slower than what Leach used to go, but when it comes to go playing at LSU, and I think you got to give credit to Florida State. We talked about that on the open of the show. This is as organized as I've ever seen Florida State. They let LSU beat themselves. Most teams don't win games, they lose them. LSU made very controllable mistakes in that game, and Florida State didn't. And that was the difference in the game. Brian Kelly even talked about it after. So I think Mississippi State right now has the more organized team. They have a team that has more of an identity. It's going to be tough playing on the road. Brian Kelly last week against Southern, they did what they had to do. You don't really know. So Jaden Daniels and them are going to have to find a way to run the ball outside of Jaden Daniels scrambling and making plays to be able to set up the pass so they can consistently move the ball down the field. But I think what you're going to see from Zach Arnett, he's going to keep everything in front. He's going to make Jaden Daniels earn it all the way down the field. And through a 4-quarter game, we don't know if Jaden can do that yet. So I think Mississippi State is the better team, but I've got a feeling LSU wins this game.
Yeah, I do too. I just think they're going to find a way and make that and heighten the expectations for that game at Auburn at Jordan-Hare Stadium. But certainly Zach Arnett, I agree with you. He's underrated. He came over from Navy. He's had chances to leave already. He did not pursue those opportunities heavily. Stayed with Mike Leach at Mississippi State, and they have the most experience returning as a team in the SEC, which I found very interesting talking to Matt Wyatt. So that game fascinates me. Okay, I've got to ask you. I have railed. You've probably seen it on my social media, and if anybody's been listening to my show, I am not a Jimbo Fisher fan or Texas A&M at all. I've in watching them choke and just get manhandled by Appalachian State was probably the highlight of my weekend last weekend. But what do we make of this game? I just have a feeling though that they're going to find a way to play harder and beat Miami. What are your thoughts? And they are a favorite against the Canes. Mario Cristobal's team has not been tested yet. But I am a Cristobal fan from his time at Alabama. What are your thoughts on the NIL Bowl?
Did you say Texas ATM?
Yes, I did. I consider them an ATM machine.
How have I never hered that before? That's pretty good. Look, I think you got to look at every game separately. App State just dominated that game last week. Whether you want to look at time of possession, A&M had 18 rushes. App State had 52. They almost tripled them up when it comes to plays on the ground. Look, Max Johnson's going to start. I've been saying he needs to play the whole time. Finally, thank you, Jimbo, for listening. I would not be shocked if you saw A&M look like a different team because you have a quarterback that's not going to panic. Haynes King was Jody Foster from the panic room. He would just lock himself in the pocket and hope nothing bad happened. You need a guy out there who's had to play in adverse situations. Nobody played in a more adverse situation at quarterback than what Max Johnson had to deal with at LSU, yet he still throws 27 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. A&M has talent. They need some confidence. And a change at quarterback, having a new guy back there that's probably going to be controlled, confident. And Miami is not going to have their best receiver in this game. That is huge. Tyler Van Dyke is a hell of a player. He's an NFL quarterback. Had a great year last year, but taking away Xavier Restrepo is really going to handcuff this Miami team. And that front seven for A&M was embarrassed on defense last week. App State ran it when everybody knew they were going to run it, and they were still getting positive yards. I think A&M wins this game, and there's a reason it's a 6-point spread. I do think they bounce back with a big win over Miami by at least a touchdown. And look, it's easy to pile on A&M right now because they did spend a lot of money. We all know the NIL stuff. But they are pretty young at a lot of positions, even though the true freshmen really haven't had that big of an impact and haven't played that much. I just think this team needs a little bit of confidence. I think Max Johnson will get them going. I think you'll see that defense play inspired, and it's a lot easier to get off the mat after a hard loss than it is after a big win. So I think you'll see A&M get off the mat and play well this weekend.
Oh, they need to because you know what's looming next week, brother. And that's the Jerry Jones Classic with your Razorbacks who have looked unbelievable. They just mauled South Carolina. Yeah.
The next 3 weeks. You go to Mississippi State and then at Bama, best of luck.
And I got to ask you, too, what do we take from Bama? I know there's been a lot of shoveling on B.O.B. I'm still a Bill O'Brien fan. I understand that the O-line didn't play their best, and and then offensively it was for 3 quarters it was kind of running the running the mud. There was a lot of inexperience that showed its head. Alabama wasn't disciplined, and defensively I thought they played well, sans the penalties. But what do we make out of Alabama against Texas? Because we know Alabama's going to win the next 2 weeks. I mean, Nick Saban would curse me out right now, but they're going to beat Monroe. They're going to beat Vandy. But it's all about, when they go to Arkansas, which is looming as a huge challenge. What did you think about Bama last week, and what do you think going forward?
Well, here's what I'll say. The scariest thing is Alabama played one of the worst games they have under Nick Saban, and they still won at Texas. And you got to take your hat off to Gary Patterson, the defensive analyst, obviously former head coach at TCU. I thought the way they manipulated the front, the way they were showing similar looks pre-snap, but giving you different things post-snap. That's why it seemed like Bryce Young looked frazzled, because he was getting internal pressure when he wasn't expecting it, and it threw his clock off. That's why you're like, why is Bryce holding the ball so much? This doesn't look like Bryce Young. Well, his clock was thrown off because Texas was doing a great job of mixing it up, and they played awfully physical. I think Texas played about as well as they could play on defense, especially up front. Alabama's offensive line is still gelling, but I think Bama is missing Tyler Harrell and JoJo Earle a lot more than what people realize. I know Tyler Harrell hadn't played a snap at Alabama, but he's an experienced receiver that is their true vertical threat, which that takes a lot of pressure off the underneath passing game to be able to open up those windows. But then you look at some of the young mistakes by this receiver corps. Kobe Prentice, when he should have sat down in the zone, overrunning it. It's little things. When you're at this high of a level, even though Alabama's a lot more talented than Texas, the margin for error is so small. So every false step, every lack of sitting in the zone, every procedure penalty is so huge in these games that are decided by 3 to 5 plays. That's how football is at the highest level. That's what makes it fun. That's what makes it captivating outside of the violence. So there's a lot of people that are piling on Alabama right now, a lot of the same people that were piling on them when the offensive line didn't look good last year, and all they did was run the table basically outside of A&M through the national championship game when they lost to Georgia while they were missing 2 of their top receivers. So take your shots now, but just remember, that was the most penalized a Nick Saban Alabama team ever was, and that was before the fourth quarter started. They couldn't get anything going offensively. They were getting beat in the secondary. The biggest thing was the lack of pass rush from Alabama with Texas's offensive line that included 3 freshmen. That's what shocked me the most. I highly doubt that Will Anderson and Dallas Turner and those guys will be bottled up like that again. So, and the shots on Bill O'Brien, we're prisoners of the moment. As fans, people are prisoners of the moment. You're as good as your last game. People forget that Bill O'Brien took over a Penn State team that was coming off the absolute disaster with the Sandusky situation. They had about half their scholarships, yet he was able to win 8 games and went and did have some success in the NFL, had more success than Nick Saban. And I always laugh when everybody's like, oh, well, Jimbo Fisher doesn't know what he's doing calling plays, and Bill O'Brien's terrible at calling plays. Man, Sarkisian's great at calling plays. Well, guess who hired all 3 of those guys? Nick Saban did. So you're going to tell me that Nick Saban doesn't know anything about who he's hiring, and he's hiring stupid people? Yeah, if you believe that, there's some beachfront property in Kansas I can get you for a great price.
Well, and as we're wrapping it up with you, Jake, as we look forward, I wanted to ask you about Florida, though. Anthony Richardson's still a young quarterback, and it really reared its ugly head against Mark Stoops' program. That was a big win for Kentucky, though, to win in the Swamp for the second time under Stoops. They're setting themselves up down the road in a few weeks for an Ole Miss game in Oxford that could be huge. That was now he's the all-time winningest coach in Kentucky history. And they did it without a big game from Will Levis and with injuries to their backfield. They're going to get Chris Rodriguez back. Who is the second best team right now in the SEC East? Is it Kentucky? Is it Tennessee? Tennessee got a big win at Pitt. What are you thinking? Because we know Georgia's the best team in the East right now.
Look, I think Kentucky's a little bit of fool's gold, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay, I'm going to tell you why. So they play Miami, Ohio early. That is a fist-fight, knockdown, drag-out game until they get a pick-six and a kickoff return for a touchdown, and they're able to kind of ride it out. So if you go back, and even after Florida beat Utah, I went back and watched the film, and I'm so surprised that Florida is not using Anthony Richardson's legs as much as they possibly can. You've got him for 1 year. You get Anthony Richardson for 1 year. It's like renting a Ferrari for a day. If I rent a Ferrari for a day, I'm not going and driving through a bunch of school zones at 15 miles per hour. I'm driving as fast and as far as I can in the day that I've rented the Ferrari. Anthony Richardson's gone after this year. That Utah game, there were so many opportunities for him in the run game, whether it was pulling it off the zone read or just designed runs. I mean, I'm shocked we're not seeing Q power. We're not seeing Q lead. We're not seeing anything with Anthony Richardson outside of just bread and butter, or when the play breaks down, he scrambles. Billy needs to stop treating this guy like he is a pocket passer. I know he has to improve as a passer, but it's one way to help guys get a little more open, or maybe make it a little easier on Anthony Richardson, is if you use his legs enough to open up the pass game. If you want to keep Anthony Richardson in the pocket and try and have him beat me with his arm and his mind all the way down the field, you are severely limiting the potential of Florida's offense. And I think you may see that going forward. They're going to start using Anthony Richardson's legs a little bit more because it cost them against Kentucky. Because look at Kentucky, Drew. They're not an explosive offense.
No.
Wandale Robinson's gone. The other Robinson kid is a good player. C-Rod coming back is big. But this isn't a team that's going to be hitting the 60-yard, 65-yard home run like they were with Wandale Robinson last year. So I think Tennessee is the better team, and Kentucky's got to go to Knoxville.
Great stuff from Jake Crane, Crane & Company. Great show, just must watch on YouTube. Such great conversation, and they cover athletics on the pro level, college level. They still talk recruiting. They do it all. Just check them out. And, Jake, we always appreciate your time. We know you're a very busy guy. Thank you for joining us on this Friday. Have a great weekend of football, but let everybody know how to connect with your show.
Definitely, man. I appreciate it, guys. Always love coming on. You know the amount of respect I have for you and Scott. You guys do a really great job. Yeah, you can find us. Just go to YouTube. It's Crain and Company. Go subscribe. We've had Tim Brando this week, Brett Favre, Tom Luganville. Our Saturday special tomorrow, is with Clay Helton from Georgia Southern, the head coach there. So, yeah, man, come check us out. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, well, hey, what I'm hoping for is an upset by Troy of Appalachian State, and Coach John Summerall, a great friend of mine from here in Huntsville, on the Crane & Company show after a huge upset on game day.
Definitely. Coach Summerall deserves it, man. He's the guy that's definitely earned his stripes, and it's going to be a game day opportunity.
It will be. Have a great weekend, man. Appreciate it.
You too, bro. See ya.
That's Jake Crane giving us some time. We're going to go on a break here. Tomorrow's headlines today, going to be a lot of football involved here on 97.7 The Zone's Talkin' Ball.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Good morning from the traffic center. Still looking good. We had one wreck in Morgan County, 36 East and Walnut Road. No injury, no blockage. They pulled it off the roadway. Just waiting on law enforcement to get there. Cajun Rice is back at Popeyes and their 11-piece chicken family meal. 2 sides, 5 biscuits, only $22.99. Popeyes, University and Jordan, 72 and Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
These days, my budget could really use a boost, which is why I love shopping at Kohl's. With the epic deals going on right now, I got myself some cute tees for under $7 each. Oh, and all my fall home decor, 40% off. Not to mention, everyone in my family got boots for under $40 each. Plus, I earned Kohl's cash. Yep, just a few hacks to work around inflation. Select styles. Offers end September 11th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing. We have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates. Residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of the Stanton Law Firm. Stan, I guess you are the Stanton in the law firm.
Yes, Wes, that's me, and we started the Stanton Law Firm so that myself and 4 other attorneys with me can help clients litigate, negotiate, and creatively solve legal and real estate problems.
Now, Stan, you grew up on a family farm in this area and have made a name closing on houses and land with your closing company, Jacob Title.
I grew up on a farm which used to be in the country. That, plus having closed on so many homes and farms, one of my colleagues started referring to me as a classic dirt lawyer. Now, I didn't know how to take that at first, that tag, but I realized that's exactly what I do and what I am.
Dan, I know the attorneys at Stanton Law Firm are regular listeners, and we plan to have you on periodically. You and I have seen have impacted this community.
Stay tuned, and you may hear about friends like Steve Booker, Clarence Johnson, Thomas Boyd, and even a few of those offensive line hogs like Hoss Johnson, and maybe you remember some other of those guys too.
I remember Clarence Johnson. He beat us one year. He was unbelievable.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship Jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's Club Repair Shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner. Unmatched in the North Alabama area, it is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslandinggolf.com. That's gunnerslandinggolf.com.
From Coleman to Fayetteville and all points in between.
Son, pull the hammer back. Smokey's coming at you in a plain white wrapper.
97.7 ESPN The Zone. This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.